Welcome to this edition of Burn Tech University from United States Stove Company. In today's video, we'll show you how to properly replace the agitator motor in your 6041 multi-fuel stove. For today's project, you'll need a 5/16 inch wrencher socket and a 1/8 inch Allen wrench. First, make sure your stove is completely cool and then remove the power from the back of the stove. Then, using your wrench or socket, remove the 2 screws at the top and the 2 screws at the back holding the side panel in place. Once the screws are removed, slide the panel toward the rear of the stove to remove it. Using one hand to support the side panel, take careful note of the wire locations on the back of the control board and then carefully unplug each wire connection. Once the wires are unplugged, carefully set the side panel away from your work area. Next, use your 5/16 inch wrencher socket to remove the 4 screws holding the agitator motor in place. Once they're loose, you can remove the bolts by hand. Then, using your Allen wrench, loosen both set screws holding the gear to the agitator motor. Once the screws are loose, you can then remove the gear from the agitator motor and slide the agitator motor out toward the back of the stove. With the agitator motor in one hand, use your other hand to remove the 2 wire leads connected to the back of the agitator motor. Next, take your new agitator motor, replace the 2 wire leads, and slide the motor in place. You can then hand thread all 4 screws to hold the motor in place. You may want to leave these screws slightly loose to make it easier to attach the gear. Next, replace the gear onto the shaft of the agitator motor and tighten both set screws securely with your Allen wrench. Your chain should have a slight bit of tension to it. Make sure now that you've tightened all 4 bolts holding the agitator motor in place. Once everything inside is tight and secure, it's now time to replace the side panel. Hold it up close to the stove and then replace the wire leads in the order that you removed them, making sure that you plug them in the proper terminals that they came from. Slide your side panel in place and replace the 2 bolts at the top and the 2 bolts at the back. Tighten those bolts and your project is complete. You can now plug your stove back in and check for proper operation. Thank you for watching this edition of Burn Tech University. Should you have any additional questions regarding your stove, please contact our customer service at 1-800-750-2723 or visit usstove.com for more information. Thank you again for watching Burn Tech University.